It is difficult not to follow the crowd. Forgive the lighting. I didn't turn on the big lights today. It is difficult not to follow the crowd. And I'm not talking about the worldly crowd. I'm talking about those who claim that they are Israel, that they are children of God, sons of God. It's been my difficult experience to not necessarily follow the crowd in my learning who God is in my life. I'm not saying that I have it all right. I probably have a lot of it incorrect. I just feel like I'm doing the right things. But the fruit of it is difficult. I don't focus so much on individual actions, smoking, drinking, I don't know, staying up late. I don't focus so much on that. I focus in on making right decisions. What is right to do in whatever situation I'm in? I think that's what God focuses on, so that's what I focus on. What is the best thing to do as an ambassador of the kingdom? I don't spend a lot of time getting into people's faces about individual things. In fact, I don't spend a lot of time getting into anyone's face, period. I allow things to happen, doing the best I can to get into the small things so that my kids, my grandkids, my brothers and sisters, and those who consider me a teacher cannot live or doesn't have to live a life constantly questioning your individual actions. If you are questioning, Lord, is this good or is this bad, you're on the right track. And then I believe God will show you what you need to do to be and stay on that track. But I think it's based upon the morality part, the character part. Are you a moral person, or are you compromising yourself to be a part of the crowd? Some people who are part of the crowd should be leading the crowd, but they don't want to necessarily make the tough decisions to be a leader because it can be lonely. But if we're ambassadors of a kingdom, then we have a responsibility to act in a way that is moral, lined up with the rules of the kingdom. Lined up with the rules of the kingdom. See, I think the reason why there's I think one of the reasons why there is I don't want to say push, but why it is popular for some Christian leaders to discount the Old Testament in any way is because, number one, they don't equate the rules, the laws, the commandments, the statutes, the ordinances, the judgments, which is funny if you understood the definition of judgment in the Hebrew as being right or being so expansive it's impossible, which is the reason why we have grace and mercy, because we'll never do all of it. It doesn't change the standard of highest and best use. It doesn't change the truth, which is we should all be striving to walk in the love which is broken down in the Torah. This is love. This is love, and this is a demonstration of respectful living with all the tribes in mind, in your mind. In other words, not only is this for you, this is for those who you say you're walking with as children of Israel and the strangers who have attached themselves to this belief system called the hand of Moses. When I say do what's right, I'm not talking about your sex life with your spouse, partner, whatever. I'm talking about do what's right as it pertains to your relationship with God and other people. You do what's right. That's what this is all about. The relationship between you and God, which is reflective of your relationship with those who are members of the kingdom. I don't know what else you're looking for. I guess, everybody wants to be successful, have money, own all the land, and, and have all the money in the bank and be, have billions of dollars and that sort of thing, and super successful, and so that they can proclaim. No, this is about your relationship with God and your relationship with those who are called to be members of the tribe. God, man, how can you say you love God and hate your brother? And I'm not talking about a hate where I hate you. No, I'm talking about hate when you disregard and do not show love and do not show respect. And you think you're better than someone. I'm talking about it's the little foxes. Not the big, not walking around saying, I love you, brother. I love you, sister. It's in the demonstration of the relationship. When God says they're going to go off kilter, it's because people choose to serve other gods. And you think that that's some big thing that can never happen to you. No, you go out of your way to be a part of something that you shouldn't be a part of, in truth should be leading something completely different. In other words, you'll go out and put yourself in debt to fit in with a group of people when you should be saying, I don't have it. It becomes an idol once it's out of order. I'm saying this different ways so that you understand. For a man, you'll go out and hang out with women that your wife will know you're uncomfortable hanging out with. And with women, you'll lie about where you're going because your husband wouldn't like it, or your boyfriend, or whatever. Or you'll have a compromising relationship so that you can get a promotion, or so that you can get exposure for your business. Compromising. Not always sexual. I'm not talking sexual. I'm talking about compromising relationships. There's nothing wrong with doing the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that you become wicked to get that wealth. In other words, you know you're doing wrong. You'll cheat on the application. You'll lie to gain favor. That's idol worship. Everybody does it. Right. You want to fit in. Accept what you get when you just do something right. Own up to when you do something wrong. It's just that simple. Now, they may not like the fact that you tell the truth, but they don't become your idol because you tell the truth. We're ambassadors. We're supposed to be the one standing in the breach. We're supposed to be the ones doing things right because we're the only example, because we have the hand of Moses and we represent the kingdom of God. If you can't get it right, you probably shouldn't get it. Are you exaggerating about your qualifications to get it? Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 24. And it came to pass when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, now I want you to pay attention to this because you will not hear this many other places. Take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant. It didn't say 10 commandments. It says the book of the law. If you listen to some pastors and do some Googling or Yahoo searches, it'll say 10 commandments. No, it's the book of the law. What is the book of the law? Everything Moses has taught them to this point is written down. And let me go a little bit further. It's the Torah. Or some would say the Pentateuch. It's the book of the law. It's not the 10 commandments. It doesn't say 2 tables of stone. Tablets of stone. I'm just reading out of the Old Testament Bible, Hebrew keyword. I can't see it anymore because it's all duct taped. So what does that say? The whole law is in the ark, along with the budded, with the authority. Let me just cut to the chase. Along with the authority of the Levitical priest and the golden container of manna which never goes bad. Provision. This is all inside the ark, explaining, well, some would say the presence of God is always with you. That ark now supposedly is is, take a guess where it is. I mean, today, in the year 2024, in Ethiopia, where the oldest Bible, guess where they got the material from, resides. The Mosaic Law, the hand of Moses, is the standard by which we are never, it is our foundation that we stand on in making every decision. If we don't have a standard, then we'll just, in business, and they teach this stuff in college, that there's something called situational ethics. There are no situational ethics. These are our standards. They don't change. Now, if you say it's too tough to win by these standards, I would agree with you, because it's kicking my behind to learn these standards. You therefore become the standard, which makes it even tougher because then you start to see how it should be done based upon the rules. I didn't make this stuff up, but I want to follow them because that is my demonstration of loving God and loving people by holding them accountable to these standards, which we all should be doing for one another. I need to follow the feast as well. I have not done that. I haven't found a group of people. I had one brother that invited me to his Jewish congregation. He never followed through with it, but I either I have to be someplace where I can lead in instituting the feast, or I need to go someplace and sit under someone who understands the importance of the feast. Because this is how we all get together and know each other and pray for one another and do business with one another. This is how things circulate, because we keep each other in mind instead of chasing after the world system because we want to fit in over there when we have our own economy. Hear me, if you want your own economy, it should be the kingdom of heaven. Economy is the control of people groups. It should be based upon the kingdom of heaven. And the rules to live based upon the kingdom of heaven are the kingdom of God. I'm going to skip by his admonishment on knowing that they're going to rebel against him. Verse 29 of 31, he says, "For I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt and turn aside from the way, the way. No one, is you want to preach the way, but you don't want to follow the way. To preach it without following it is trying to condemn others of what you're doing. But to live it is to bring conviction, because people see the possibilities of living according to the hand of Moses or the kingdom of God. We're going to skip that part. We're going to go down to Deuteronomy chapter 32, because God commanded Moses to create a song. I want you to hear part of this song. And he does it so that it can be relatable beyond the present generation to the generation of the children, to encourage them on the standard, because they will go off into the world and try to fit in. Deuteronomy 32, verse 1. Give ear, O you heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herbs, and as the showers upon the grass. And I recognize most of you don't see the type and shadow in this, but there's a lot of it there. Give ear is understanding, O heavens. This is a prayer. I will speak and hear. I will speak and hear, O earth. Earth is where everything is birthed from. The words of my mouth, my doctrine, teaching, of course, shall drop as the rain. In other words, it will nurture, it will heal. Anyway, verse 3, because I will publish the name of the Lord. I will publish the name of the Lord. You understand that, right? To publish the name of the Lord. It's a type of worship. I will, if you publish your mother's or your father's name, there's a certain amount of reverence there. It also shows that when you publish the name of the Lord, you have to reflect who He is. So there's a type of responsibility there as well. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God. Verse 4 is jam-packed. So we'll sit here. In fact, we'll close here. The rock, His work perfect. For all His ways judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right He. Now I got rid of all the italicized words there. So let me read it again, because I think I read it wrong. The rock, His work perfect. For all His ways judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity, just and right He. It's hard, I think, for a lot of people, not all, because there are people who walk in His ways. There are many people that walk in His ways, get sidetracked, don't know they're sidetracked, and then God reminds them because He goes and fetches them, if you remember that. It's the lost sheep. He'll go and pull them back into the fold. I believe there are a lot of leaders who are lost sheep. The unfortunate truth of that, if that's the case, is that they've led a lot of people astray. The reason why I say that is because if you continue to read, you'll know that He's not talking to an individual, and He's not directing His conversation to the congregation. He's talking to the leaders. So let me go back to Deuteronomy 31. My daughter warned me about jumping around. So that you understand. This is Moses talking to the Levitical priests, telling them what to do. Okay? Verse 28, 31:28. Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. Okay? So, elders of your tribes and your officers who lead the congregations. That's me. I said that. They lead the congregations. So when I say it's the elders that go astray, that's what I mean. And they lead the congregation. We are sheep. We follow. Those we put on pedestals. Do not put me on a pedestal. Study to show yourself approved. His ways are the right journey. Therefore, it has to be led by the Spirit of truth. There's a direction. That direction, in this case, is Canaan. In our case, is the kingdom of heaven. What is the kingdom of heaven? A place where everyone lives by the kingdom of God. He explained to you in Deuteronomy chapter 31 that this whole thing, this book of the law, is a witness against you. In other words, if you decide to live any other way other than by these rules, this is your standard to come back to. Or you wouldn't know what to come back to. This is our standard. In verse 7, let me jump down there for a minute. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Let me jump there so you understand what I mean. He says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. This is the wisdom. Thy elders, and they will tell thee what it took for them to get to Canaan. The promised land. A place of prosperity. Success. Through the journey. The way. The way. For all thy ways, going back up to verse 4, all thy ways judgment. Now, how can all his ways be judgment? Because the definition of judgment in this case is right. All thy ways are right, which is the reason why you need to be led by the Spirit of truth in all thy ways. Because the Spirit of truth is the personhood of judgment. It's how you know how to judge, because you judge what's right. A God of truth and without iniquity, because he's a God of truth, just and right he. The moral of the story is, if we're really honestly interested in living by the kingdom of God, and it's just not something we just like to preach and talk about and quote scriptures on. The focal point is doing his will with his people. Instead of going outside of Israel doing what's called idol worship. And I love this one because people say, oh, our people are so hard to do business with. No, we're not. We're easy to do business with. What makes it hard is when you don't want to do business with the people within your tribe. And you decide you just want to do idol worship and go outside your tribe. Because they're so much smarter when they're just using you. Anyway, CashApp $TheMrPaulDozier, CashApp $TheMrPaulDozier. We're on a journey from Genesis to Revelation. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're on that journey. If these videos or audios or however you're listening or seeing this on whatever platform is helpful to you, it will be helpful to other people. So please like, subscribe, share. I think that's the first time I said subscribe. Subscribe, share this with your family, your friends, your business partners, your ministry. Maybe a Bible study. I don't know. This is my personal Bible study, so study to show yourself approved. And thank you for taking this journey with me, and thank you for taking this journey with those who are called to usher in the kingdom of heaven.